Hi everyone. This video is for YATYRLL. You know, according to the birth certificate, it says August 31st, 2004 is the day that YATYRLL Johnson's birth certificate said, and the address is like 402 May Circle. It's MAE Circle, CIRCLE. Warrior, Alabama, 35180 or something like that. And it was in apartment 402. It's called the Cane Creek Apartments. I had the apartments before the child was born, because, when I was growing up, as a child, I had to live in the projects, in Gate City, Alabama, in Birmingham, and in Bessemer, 2703 Dartmouth Avenue. And in the year of 1996, in the Illiton Village Projects community, somewhere between 3rd Avenue and Greymont Avenue, sometime in 1996, they said something about I was in a car accident. Some people say it wasn't an accident. It was like an insurance scam for them to get some money and stuff, I was about 12 years old, That's why it's important, since YATYRLL, is supposed to be like 18 now, old enough to get married, legally old enough to get married. Being a person legally old enough to get married, some stuff that I learned about being married is that, they say situations are not always fair, I've been done wrong a lot, treated like garbage, When YATYRLL was born, I had to drive, from the city of Warrior, from the apartment at 402 May Circle, to the city of, like, Kimberly, Morris, Gardendale, Fultondale, just to get to Birmingham, because there was no hospital in the city of Warrior. My leg was all messed up and broke or whatever, because, after getting my leg messed up in 1996, whatever car accident, scam or messed it, those people that call themselves family did, I don't know. It's like, somebody tried to set me up, at a job, at the Pepsi Buffalo Rock Company through a temp service or something like that. They had messed my leg up again, so, it was like, why did they keep abusing your leg or something like that, or breaking? It's like, well, it was the same kind of accident every time, like attacking your legs and trying to, break you down like that. It wasn't my idea, it was like somebody been abusing me. And like I have been a victim of a family, of people that, kept trying to figure out a way to get money, using me as a punching bag, or as breaking my bones and stuff like that, and claiming that they love me and like me and stuff like that. It's crazy. So, I had a Jeep, it was a car that I paid for with, the money, that came from me, being in those accidents and stuff. They used the money, to buy those people that call themselves Willie Johnson and Yolanda them, stuff and cars and all of that type of stuff like that, talking about they gave him a loan, I'm like 12, 13, 14 years old. It's crazy because if I'm like 12, 13, 14 years old, what a so-called grown man doing, using a child's money, because if I'm 12, 13, 14 years old, let's say I was a child, not old enough to get married because I wasn't 18, because, according to my marriage license, with the date of April 30th of 2004, and according to the birth certificate, it says that when a girl, is 18 years old, when a person is 18 years old, old enough to legally get married, and does not need the permission of their mom or their dad or a parent. So, this YATYRLL, is 18 years old, according to the birth certificate, those legal documents, and does not need the permission of a mom, a dad, or a parent, I decided that, I wanted to explain, the situations, about being married because, according to the marriage certificate, marriage license, it said that a person was 18 years old, April 30th of 2004, according to the birth certificate, And I was treated very mean and very bad on the day of April 30th of 2004, I was treated like garbage, very mean. That very day of April 30th of 2004, with God as my witness, no lie. So, even though, people was mean to me, a lot, when YATYRLL was born, it's evidence that I did not, abuse the mom and all that stuff like that, making her have a miscarriage or abortion or dying, what I'm saying, while she was pregnant and stuff like that. Because, in order for the child to be born, and, live at 402 May Circle, Cane Creek, apartment 402 in Warrior, Alabama. I mean, obviously I care because, I cared enough before the child was born because it was, a 2-bedroom apartment to make sure that the child, had their own room, not in the projects, not on Section 8, not in the ghetto, not in the hood and stuff like that, because, the people that I was with, growing up, I guess they didn't care about me because, I didn't have my own room, I didn't, they made me live in the projects and, in the ghetto and in the hood and stuff like that, like when I was a teenager, like when them people filed the petition on me, said I was harassing them at 2501 20th Street. It's crazy because how can somebody that's supposed to be your family, how can you be harassing your own family? Since I did not have any sex offenses, it wasn't sexual harassment, since I did not have any violent crimes, I don't have any victims, so, I never really abused anyone. It's crazy. It's like, I was told that, after that they got the money, from the car accident insurance, or, they had burnt the house down at 1520 65th Street in the Green Acres neighborhood, of Birmingham. They was doing a bunch of insurance scams, I was told that after they got the money, they really didn't have no use for me, so, they made up lies or, stories just to get me locked up, and that nobody cared because, but when I was 14, they sent me to a boot camp. I was still there when I was 15, like, actually I had got my first job, when I was 13. I signed up for the JCCEO, job program and started working when I was 14. And, instead of them telling me I did a good job, They wanted me to get locked up. They said I was getting a Social Security check, and they didn't want the Social Security check to get turned off because if I was working, it wasn't for me, of course, because, if I was working, I never even know that I was getting into all this stuff, It's just that they just wanted some money. Basically, that's all it was. So, when I was 15, all right, I got a high school equivalency certificate. Some people call it a GED. It means that, I had a high school education that was already done with high school. So, I had started going to college and stuff like that. For some crazy reason, I was sent to a group home during those same ages, instead of them saying that I did a good job, it was a European man, and he gave me $100, and the people that said they was my family and friends and stuff like that, they called me a nerd, they called me a lame because something was wrong with my leg, you know. They said I wasn't sexy or I wasn't cute because I wasn't the color of my shirt. They would be bragging on some guy named Travis and Toot that was the color of my shirt, They would be bragging on Willie Johnson, somebody that was the color of my shirt, that type of situation. They said I wasn't sexy and, I wasn't cute and that, since I was not the color of my shirt that, I was not worthy, and it's crazy because, one time, when I was on the Greyhound, it was a girl that was, she was almost the color of my shirt. She was, something, more or less or more, she was kind of like the color of my shirt, But she was real friendly, with me. And, I was real friendly with her, And people got mad at me because when a girl was the color of, my shirt, and I was being nice to her, she was being nice to me. People got mad at me and tried to make me feel bad about being nice to a girl that was the color of my shirt, Something like the color of my shirt, You know. Maybe there's some more or less, something like that, Maybe not the exact same color, but close. Something like that, So, I never really understood because I'm like, being married, with a marriage certificate, with a marriage license, it have a date of April 3rd, 2004. Somebody would always brag, about this dude named TJ. And, he was the type of dude that, what I'm saying, that, would, when I was at their house and stuff like that, he would be hanging out around underage children, for sex reasons and stuff like that, Stuff like that, Because it was questions about, when I went to 2715 Avenue E. Ensley and when I went to 2928 Avenue T. Ensley. So, the first address was 2715 Avenue E. Ensley in Birmingham. And then the second address was 2928 Avenue T. Ensley. And so they said it was a dude named TJ. And, he said he was they said he was the cousin of a guy named Brian Green. And they called him Fish or Fish here. So he said he was in a gang, And the girls that was with him, I don't know, he wasn't the color of me. And he wasn't the color of my t-shirt. And it's crazy because when he wasn't the color of my t-shirt, I don't understand, It's like, I guess they just didn't like me or something like that. I don't really know, But, being married, having marriage license before YATYRLL was born, right? When I was at the hospital and YATYRLL was born, I was like, I don't want no more children. I don't want no more children because, the baby started crying and all of that. And I could feel the energy, And I was like, you know, it was the first time that I ever had that experience. It was the first time that, you know, I saw a child, you know, a person coming out of another person, just watching some experience like that. I'm like, oh my God, a person came out of another person. What? And then, you know, it was such, you know, an extreme experience that I was like, I don't want to do this no more, you know. I don't want to, you know, the way the world is, you know, I didn't want them to, you know, do the stuff to YATYRLL, you know, the child, the same way that they did stuff to me, you know. I didn't want them to, you know, give him drugs. I didn't want them to do abortion insemination to him. I didn't want them to, you know, make him live in the projects or the ghetto or those bad neighborhoods, you know, like Birmingham, Ensley, Alabama, those places, the same places, you know, where I was abused. Because, you know, I was told that it was abuse when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, you know, when a family, you know, and according to the birth certificates of their children, you know, you know, when a lot of those people had sex with underage people and children were born from underage sex from those hyena practices where grown people, you know, and according to grown people, they're saying that like a person, you know, 18 years old, legally old enough to get married. You don't have to ask the mom. You don't have to ask the dad. You could just go to a courthouse and get a marriage certificate. Because if it was real love and it was a real relationship, you know, why did they not have a marriage license or a marriage certificate, you know, if all you had to do was be 18? So, you know, it was like, you know, when Kimaya was born, you know, that dude who they called the Aldwin or Wee Wee or whatever, you know, that guy that they would always, you know, I don't know, for some reason, you know, and I tried to explain this to them. I was like, if you say he's her dad or, you know, she's his mom, and you look at the birth certificates and their ages, you're supposed to be able to say, wait a minute. Well, that means that he's a child molester and a child abuser, because child molestation is child abuse, because in order for her to be born, if he was 18 and her mom was still in middle school, you know, stuff like that, what kind of family are those people? So, you know, that's why I left the state of Alabama and moved to somewhere else, you know. Georgia State, of course, you know. And I've been here since about 2014, you know. And the people of Georgia know, you know, because they know their families. They know when they ask their brothers, did I do a boy insemination to them? Their brothers and, you know, their cousins and their uncles and their dads are like, no. He never did anything with his penis to us. And they know that when they ask their sisters and their, you know, cousins, their moms, their aunts and stuff like that, you know, did he force any of you to do sex stuff, or did he ever molest or do underage sex with any of your sisters or your children and stuff like that? The people here, they know, no, he didn't do any of that stuff to us. It's crazy because, you know, the people in Alabama know the same information. Because when they ask their sisters and, you know, family members and brothers and stuff, they're like, he's like one of the only ones that, you know, that's what someone told me before. They was like, Brandon, you one of the only people that a lot of people know that, you know, no matter how fine a person was, no matter how sexy a person was, no matter how good looking a person was, you know, no matter how much somebody projected or tried to walk in front of you, whether in their panties, whether they was naked, you know, whether they said they had a lot of money, whether they said you can have more than one, whatever they did, you know, since I'm, you know, according to the birth certificate, 38 years old today. A lot of people said, man, you one of the only ones, Brandon, that was able, to not do it, and keep on saying, but what about my wife? What about my, my family? What about my children? What about God, first? Stuff like that. So, I really don't understand, the situation of what's been going on. So, I don't know where you're at right now or what you're doing, but, if you get married, sometimes people will say that they love TJ more than me, more than you. Sometimes people will say that they love Robert more than me, more than you. Sometimes people will say that they love Aaron more than me, more than you. Sometimes people will say that they love Willie or Wee Wee or Oswin more than me, more than you, And sometimes people will say that they love you more than me, Because, I feel like I was cheated out of my marriage. I feel like I was cheated out of my time. I feel like I was cheated out of my life. I feel like I was the one who got cheated, Because, when YATYRLL was born, August 31st, 2004, somebody said that he needed somebody else to play with. So, I was told that, somebody got pregnant with Lord Gerald on purpose, You know, they said it was Lord Gerald's mom, and she said she got pregnant with Lord Gerald on purpose for YATYRLL to have someone to play with. YATYRLL got sick, at 2501 20th Street with those people. They said they gave him some food or something like that, and, he got sick, according to the family court of Jefferson County, it was in the paperwork that, he went over to those people's house at 2501 20th Street. And then, after that, he was sick and had to go to the hospital, sudden infant death syndrome, stuff like that. And, since the ambulance didn't take him, and, since the mom, didn't have a car, couldn't drive and stuff like that, I used the money that, I had, paid for a car, drove him to the hospital, communicated, information to the court and the Child Services Department of Human Resources, because I did not want the child to die, I could have just looked the other way or ignored the situation or could have said so. But I did not, So, when YATYRLL was born, I said I only wanted one child. I was told, there's a link in the description. I was told, according to the family court of Jefferson County, that I don't have to do anything else, and that the mom or the mother, the girl would have, some explaining to do, because you cannot make me look like a deadbeat dad, because it's about the truth, If their family or someone else said they cared more about YATYRLL than me, congratulations, YATYRLL. Someone loves you more than me, because, when they said that YATYRLL needed someone else to play with, so that's why Lord Gerald was born. It wasn't for me. And when, Lord Gerald went to foster care, and, YATYRLL needed someone to play with, that's why Lord Gerald was born in the first place. Like, well, it was like, they couldn't get a court date. So somebody was like, if you had another baby, they would try to take the baby from you, and then you would get a court date, and then they would try to put all the children together, So that's why Trinity was born. So Trinity was born October 6, 2008, for Lord Gerald to get out of foster care, so that it would be a court date. And the only reason they wanted Lord YATYRLL to get out of foster care is, the same reason for YATYRLL to have someone to play with. So they was like, Lord YATYRLL was born for YATYRLL to have someone to play with, not for me. And Trinity was born for, YATYRLL, to have someone to play with. Because she was born for Lord YATYRLL to get out of foster care. So that YATYRLL can have a brother and a sister to play with, not for me. So when they said that Trinity was born, for YATYRLL to have a sister and not for me. And when they said that Lord YATYRLL was born for YATYRLL to have a brother and not for me. Ever since April 30th, 2004, I feel like I've been cheated a lot, because if this whole situation was not for me, and it was for YATYRLL to have a sister and a brother, I never understood why he would be so important. If I was the one that, drove the cars, got my leg broke, got the scars and bruises on my baby, and stuff like that. And I was the one that was locked up in jail, and, but those parts were for me, So, I was told that, in the courtroom, the family court in Jefferson County, it's linked in the script. It was like, those families would have to explain how was any of this for me. Because it was like, you can't make me look like a deadbeat dad, because, this information that, I actually went to court for the children. I was held in contempt of court, in the courtroom. Actually got locked up for the children. Talking about some, I love the children. I love my family. I love them and stuff like that, But I went to jail, for contempt of court, just for, saying that I love the children, saying that I care about the children, being very passionate, And it's crazy because, since they, see that different people tried to use the name and identity of April Williams, Some people been asking questions. They like, is YATYRLL's mom Lord YATYRLL's mom? Is Lord YATYRLL's mom Trinity's mom? Is YATYRLL's mom your wife? Is what they would ask me. Is Lord YATYRLL's mom your wife? Is what they would ask me. Is Trinity's mom your wife? Is what they would ask me. Who is your wife? Is what they would ask me, So it was like, there's been some problems with the identity of Lord YATYRLL's mom, Trinity's mom, YATYRLL's mom, and people, have been asking, who is my wife, because these stories of my life and the way this situation went, whatever they was doing with the children, it seemed like it was not for me. Being married and being a husband, it was supposed to be for me, not for TJ, not for John, not for Adrian, not for Aldrin, not for Willie, not for Toots, not for Travis, situations like that. So it was like someone had some explaining to do, because his YATYRLL, is 18 years old according to the birth certificate, old enough to legally get married and start his own life. I did my job by, being there, showing the interest, not molesting him, not doing a boy insemination. I never even gave him whipping or spanking or any of that, So it was like, someone did wrong and someone did me wrong, So, in those situations, when all of it was for YATYRLL, it was like, someone must really love YATYRLL, So, I was told that, whoever idea it was, that wanted YATYRLL to have a brother and a sister and more than one child, that it's their responsibility and their job to further explain and pay for whatever the family or the children wanted in those situations, since it was not my ideal, you know. So, you know, I don't really understand who, what, or why any of these happen, you know. But, you know, I love you all. Believe me, I do, you know. And I loved everyone enough to not make any of the girls or the people single moms or single mothers. And, you know, I've been around some of the most beautiful, sexiest, you know, gorgeous people, you know. And I was told that the other men and the other people have no excuse, because since I'm 38 years old today, what's their excuse for making single moms, single mothers, you know? And, you know, because when I've been